Yesterday was definitely one of the toughest days of my career, probably one of the toughest days of my life, I think is reasonable to say. After the assassination of my friend Charlie Kirk, I have to say that that's a new one for me. I've seen a lot, but I've never had a friend get murdered, much less assassinated. And trying to deal with that on a busy workday has been tough, but it's been a great comfort that so many people have been interested in hearing from my perspective. You probably see me popping up places from Fox News to Newsmax to your favorite podcast, and I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep trying to share what I know about my friend Charlie, which is quite a bit. I was lucky enough to be deeply involved in his rise in politics and in culture, and to be a mentor at some times, and other times he mentored me and taught me the way. But he's been an incredible friend and ally, and he really is the best version of a guy that you can imagine. Is the ultimate in your head, whatever you're thinking of how Charlie is, he's even better than that. He was just a tireless and persuasive voice for conservative and Judeo-Christian values who will now be remembered throughout history. He is immortal now. He is immortalized. You'd have to say this is the highest profile assassination in this country in many, many decades, which is, of course, horrific. It's a tragedy in a sense. It's a catastrophe in other senses. But what it does do is it does cement Charlie's place in history, and it will make people reflect on what he stood for. What he stood for were all good things. Of course, above all else, he stood for American values, America First principles, our Constitution, our founding documents, American exceptionalism. He stood for Christianity. He was a warrior for Christ. And I'll tell you, on a personal level, I got to spend a lot of time with Charlie from his rise through a junior contributing writer at Breitbart News to founding Turning Point to being one of the top voices in all of podcasting and radio. I was always most excited when he was talking scripture, when he was talking the Bible, because I knew I was going to learn something from him when he was doing that. And it just shows you that he's such a robust toolkit. There's so many elements of what he was doing that go beyond just generic political talking points. And he was also an inspiration in terms of his motivation, how he continued to try to find new hills to climb. He was the biggest on X, the everything app. And then he said, well, let's take on TikTok. Let's take on Instagram. Let's go there. And I think really what ultimately is the reason why he was assassinated is that he cracked the code on the campuses. He figured something out that no one else had figured out.